through data visualization, we can make the decisions very quickly and our decision will be precise one too. This is a standard thing that has to be represented with respect to our Python matplot library and followed by pi of. This is responsible for representing our information in a form of a pie chart. Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the fourth session of Unit 4 that's under Python programming. The session 4 is all about data visualization. Yes, this is the continuation of session 3. In last session, we have discussed various things regarding our data visualizations. Over here, my name is Deepa Kutnikar. I'm working as an assistant professor under Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram, Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Let's move forward and see the agenda of today's session. In today's session, we will be discussing regarding data visualization. Then we will be understanding the introductory part of data visualization, followed by the library that supports the data visualization with respect to mathematical formats. Yes, that's none other than matplot library. So we will be studying this, and with respect to that as a continued portion, we will be discussing the different types of charts that is available with respect to Python programming. Let's begin our session with understanding the data visualization. Data visualization is a simple representation of our information in a pictorial form. Like we can use charts, we can use graphs, we can use plots too in order to understand the patterns, relationships and the different trends in data. So all this put together, we call it as a simple data visualization process. Now, with respect to Python, we have to understand what are the libraries that supports this data visualization. So these are the few set of library that has been supported by Python in order to represent our information in a pictorial formats. For example, matplot library. So this is a very important and most commonly used library with respect to data visualization. Further, ggplot, plotly, then Altair, Seaborn, Bokeh and Pygel. So these are the various libraries that has been available in our Python programming. Alright, now let's understand the next thing, that what's the utilization or advantage of using data visualization, or how this data visualization helps us in our real-time examples or scenarios. The main thing that we can say is it helps us in understanding the complex informations. Then further, through data visualization, we can make the decisions very quickly and our decision will be precise one too. Moreover, this data visualization will reveal the different trends, comparisons, as well as the distributions that is available with respect to that information. So this is all about a simple data visualization process and the various libraries that has been available in Python programming. Thus, let's start understanding the standard library of Python programming that's with respect to data visualization. That is none other than our matplot library function. The matplot library is a standard library that has been represented by Python and it is used to create a 2D plots as well as the charts. Now, if we speak with respect to the technical term, then there is a most widely used software that is completely utilized in order to represent our data in a complete visualized form. So that is none other than MATLAB. Now, the second thing is, can we use this matplot library and make some changes and utilize that as a MATLAB? Yes, through this we can't touch that MATLAB, but we can just stay somewhere around that representation formats. So yes, this can be made possible by using one of a supporting plugin that's with respect to matplot library, which is called as pyplot module. This pyplot module is a complete collection of functions that supports this matplot library to represent the information in a proper 2D form of graphs or charts. Great. Now let's see an example for that, or a simple syntax like how this works with our matplot library. So initially, what do we need to do? We need to import a statement. Okay, that's done. As it's my syntax, I'm just writing import statement followed by import matplotlib.pyplot has PLT. So this is a standard thing that has to be represented with respect to our Python matplot library. Now let's see the common pyplot functions that's available in Python programming. The first function is all about plot of. By using this function, we can represent the data in a form of a line chart. The next function is bar. As the name itself says, we can represent our information in a form of a bar graph. The next one is histof, which is none other than histogram. So we can represent our information in a form of a histogram. And followed by pyof. This is responsible for representing our information in a form of a pie chart. Then the next one is x label, y label, and the title of. So these are required in order to represent our x, y, and the title of that representations. The next one is show off. This is used to display the chart. So these are the common pyplot functions that are available in Python programming. Let's move forward. The first type of data visualization is a simple one. That's none other than a line chart. The line chart is used to represent the information. But here what happens is the data points are connected using the straight line. Now let's consider this as an example, and x-axis is for time and y-axis shows the trends. Let's consider this as trends and the x-axis has time. The data, as we know, for 1 we have got a 0.2. So in this way, 2, next point 4 point something, next for 3 it is nearly 2.6. Next for 4 it is nearby to 7 around. So in this way we will first initially create the dots and finally connect them using the straight line, and this form of representation is simply called as a line chart. Now let's see an example for the same in Python programming. First and the main thing that we are supposed to do is writing the import statement. We are importing matplotlib.pyplot has PLT. So this is a library. We know that we have studied regarding this, right? So we are importing it. Up next, we are representing the x and y points or the data. Okay, that's done. Forward, we will be getting plot of x comma y. Then we are representing the labels for x, y, and the title if it is required. Here we have just considered as value. So I am representing it has x value, y value. Then for title, line chart example. Then this plot show. Why this show has to be written? In order to display our plot. Okay, that's the main thing. The first and the last segment is very, very important. Okay, once the execution of this code is completed, then at the output, we will be getting a straight line showing an increasing trend, as in this. Okay, the next type of representation of information is none other than a bar chart. The bar chart represents the data in a form of a simple bars, and these are used when we need to represent a information. So what kind of information? That's completely a comparison information. So whenever we need to represent the categorized or the difference values, then we can go with this bar chart. Let's see an example with respect to our Python programming. So initially we need to import the library, that is none other than matplotlib.pyplot has PLT. So this is the library. We are calling the library initially. Later we are entering the data. So the first thing, the first bar will be having a maths, next science, then followed by English. But the marks for each of the subjects, it will be considered as y-axis. Okay, that we have represented. Up next, what I need to represent how it has to be shown, correct? So for that, plot dot bar of subjects comma marks. Next thing, we have to represent x label, y label, title. Then lastly, we need to write a plot comma show. So this is the thing that we are supposed to do. Once we are done with the execution, the next thing is to see the output. At the output, we will be getting a bars represented with good y, x values and a title value for that. So this is all about a simple bar chart. Alright, the next type of representation of our data is none other than representing information in the form of a pie chart. This pie chart is being utilized whenever we are moving forward to represent our information that's in a percentage form or in a proportion formats. Let's say an example for that with respect to Python. As we know, the initial thing that we need to do is importing the library, right? So let's write that import matplot library.pyplot has plot. So this is the library that we are importing initially. Up next, we need to write the x and y axis information, correct? So the first information will be activities. So I need to represent these proportions, like if I consider a student, what is his study hour, what is his sleep hour, what is his play hour, and then followed by if we do some other works like having dinner, then chit-chatting with family, all these things will be included in other, and the duration with respect to other will be provided in hours, like 6 and 6 for study, 8 for sleep, then 4 hours for play. So this is the simple data that we have considered. Now next, what we have to do is we are writing the plot.py followed by the x and y labels, and we are representing the proportions, like what are the proportion that these activities have to be filled inside that circle using the float value. All right. Next, we are writing the title has daily activity of a student or simple daily activities. Up next, we are supposed to write this plot.show, because only if we write the statement, then our data visualization will be shown. Okay. So after execution of this information, then we will be getting an output which is similar to this. Here we can see that most of the time a person or that student will be spending his time for sleeping, then 2 equal hours for play and study, then followed by a small amount or portion of time for other activities. So this representation is a pie chart representation. In this way, we can easily visualize the information pictographically. That's why we will be using this matplot library. Along with that, the next plugin that we utilize is none other than pyplot. So I believe both of these libraries are clear to you, right? All right, let's see the comparison study of these charts, what we have understood now. So the first one is line chart. This represents the trend over the time, correct? Nextly, we studied bar chart, which is typically used to represent a comparison data. The next one is histogram, which is very similar to bar graphs, but here there will be no space provided between the bars. So let's say that this is my bar graph, correct? Now, similarly, if I want to write a histogram chart, then there will be no space provided in between the bars, and that representation is called as a simple histogram. Yes, this kind of representation is called as histogram, and this is a bar chart. Now, bar is used for comparison data. Now, let's see where is this histogram is being utilized. So, this kind of representation is used for the information where the data distribution has to be represented. The next type of chart is none other than pie chart, which is used to represent a percentage or a proportion of information. So these are the common plots through which we can represent our information in a good pictorial format. This is all about today's session. So we have understood the library functions as well as the various Python library that supports the data visualization. So this is all about our unit 4, and over here we can say that we have successfully completed our complete syllabus of Python programming, which is with respect to 4th semester. That's according to Mysuru University and under SEP syllabus. Thank you. This was all about today's session. And let me tell you, we have successfully completed the whole syllabus of our Python programming, which is there for you. That's according to fourth semester BCA syllabus, according to Mysore University. And this syllabus is with respect to revised syllabus that is simply called as a ACP. All right, all the very best for your exams. Do very well and score a very good marks in Python programming. Thank you.